Okay, hey everyone. So in this one, we are going to talk about ACM or Amazon Certificate Manager. So using Amazon Certificate Manager, you can go and create your own public certificates. So in this case, you don't have to go to any external vendor to buy the SSL certificates or the public certificates, which can be hosted on your website. So to just give you a brief about how the certificates will look like. So right now, if you see, I have opened up my AWS account. I click on the log icon. It says the connection is secured. I click here and more information. It presents a certificate to me basically. So this certificate, I'll be going and creating it, certificate similar to this. So why we would want to create the certificates? Because it's a proof of trust that, okay, your website is secured. Now, how is the website actually secured? The website, when we say that the website is secured, what it means is that the data which is going between your machine and the end server, or you, the client, and the end server, the data is going to be encrypted. The data is going to be encrypted via a key, by the way. And that key, if you want to see, that's about the public key and private key, not in our scope right now, but if you want to see, you can go and have a look at the chain, and you can have a look at the certificate. Generally, the algorithm that is used is SHA-256. So this type of certificate we are going to create. So for example, if I open GoDaddy and I click here, so I'll be seeing the certificate of GoDaddy itself over here. Okay, so I can do that also. So in this way, we are going to create a certificate for our domain. Now, whenever you need to create a certificate, you need to prove that you are indeed the owner of that particular website or that domain. So how to do that and how to create the certificate using AWS is what our scope is going to be. Now, this can be used at many places. For example, you might want to go and forward this to a CloudFront distribution, and that CloudFront distribution itself will be over HTTPS, and the CloudFront distribution might be forwarding the data to a CLB, NLB, or in general a load balancer or a S3 website endpoint, or a global accelerator. So things like that. So we need a certificate basically. So as you would have seen in case of the load balancer, if not, you can go and have a look at the load balancer video, in which we have done the same thing, but there we had rushed through the complete process. In this one, we won't be rushing through it. We'll be going step by step and seeing how to go and create a certificate. So let's get started. First of all, you will have to go and buy a domain. So I have already bought it from this particular provider. You are free to go and choose any provider. So GoDaddy, if you're in India, it's GoDaddy, it's Big Rock. If you're abroad or if you're in US, Canada, choose any provider. It doesn't make any difference at all. The only thing that you have to take care is you should go and have access to your DNS over here. Okay, so I click on manage DNS, and this step is going to come in very handy for me in some time. Before that, let's go and start with our ACM or Amazon Certificate Manager. For that, go to the search terminal and just click on Certificate Manager over here. Now, one important thing, you can go and create the certificate in Mumbai also. So ACM is a region specific thing. So you can create it in Mumbai, you can create it in North Virginia. However, if at all you are going for CloudFront especially, it's important that you will have to go and create the certificate in North Virginia itself. So once again, if at all you are going to create a website in CloudFront in North Virginia, you need to create a certificate in North Virginia also. So I'll go ahead and do the mistake of not creating it over there, and then over the process we'll realize that, okay, we have to create it in North Virginia also. Okay, so for now, because ACM is a region specific thing, I'll go and open up the ACM Amazon Certificate Manager present in Mumbai. This can be seen by ACM over here, and I have AP South one. So I do have many certificates which I have created as of now. I'll go and create one more certificate. For that, just go and click on request a certificate, and obviously I need a public certificate. This, by the way, if at all you are confused why, remember that when we had gone for this one over here, request a public certificate, here also the certificate that we had gone for the public certificate itself. Okay, so that's also a reason why we are going to create. Also, if you go for your certificates, or if you go for the public and private key or the encryption, you are going to realize that it all works like that only. Okay, so fine, let's go back and click on request a public certificate and then request a certificate. Here I'll go and I'll have to go and create a domain. So I already have the domain, by the way, which is something like edu.online over here. So I'll just take this one and just get the domain name over there. Now, if you want, you can go and add another also, for example, www.that, and maybe someone is creating a record like class.edu.online or maybe aws.edu.online or me.edu.online. So you'll have to go and add all of them in one order, or you can use a wildcard. Wildcard means simply go and put a star symbol over there. So it's going to take care of that. So you can go and add anything before the star. It can be www.edu.online, aws.edu.online, me.edu.online, and so on. Okay, so then I click on next over here. Here I'll have two options. Either I can go for a DNS validation or I can go for an email validation. So if in case you are going for a DNS validation, you'll have to go and prove to AWS that indeed you are the owner of this website. Now, if at all you have to do that, that becomes a bit troublesome because DNS propagation takes time. So anyhow, we are going to do it from the beginning. So we'll see what to do. So in this case, you will have to click on next over here. And then I don't want to create any tags. That's fine. So review and click on confirm and request. And if I do that, basically, this certificate should be allocated to me. But then if you remember right now, this particular domain, how do I prove that this domain belongs to me? So there are two ways. Either you can go and change the name servers straight away over here and point it to your Route 53, or you can do certain entries over here. Now, in my experience, we have seen that if you go and use a service known as Route 53, if you go and use that, that actually helps you out because the propagation generally happens pretty fast over there. So how to do that? Let's have a look. So even before you start your certificate manager, it's always wise to go and create an entry inside Route 53. So Route 53 basically is going to do the DNS mapping for your entire servers now. So entire website, how the DNS are being mapped, that is going to happen via Route 53. Okay. So for that, I'll have to click on a hosted zone and I will have to go and create a hosted zone for myself. Okay, so for that, I click on create hosted zone here. I just go and give the address, and here I'll say something like hosted zone for website. Okay, and it's a public hosted zone. And if you want, you can add a tag also, something like, let's say, created by, and you can give the name of, basically it can be anything. Tags don't matter. It's for you to understand. So I click on create hosted zone, and this hosted zone should be created for me. Now, this is the place where you might be confused. Okay, so you have created a domain over here, but how are you going to tell the world that indeed this domain belongs to you? Remember, you had bought the domain from GoDaddy and you have created the DNS entry inside Route 53. So now what is to be done is you will have to tell GoDaddy that, see, this name servers, whatever you are using, shouldn't be your name server. Rather, it should be the name server of this service Route 53 over here. Okay. So for that, just click on name servers, click on change over here. Here you will have to go and give your own name servers. Now this interface might change. So that is fine. Even if it changes, the concept remains the same at the end of the day. So you don't have to worry much about that. Okay. So click over here, enter my own name servers, and you will have to give the values over here. These values will be like this. Now, the general error that people do is that they put the comma also over there. Please don't add the comma. So basically remove the comma. Okay. If you do that, then it's just that after some time you will realize that you will have to remove it. If you take it right now itself, you will save yourself the trouble. So I remove this and the fourth one over here, and I give this also. Okay. So, and I click on save. Now it's going to give a pop-up that are you sure, and these all things. Now again, if you're watching this video right now, I'm recording it on 30th of April 2021. If in case you are watching it in a year or 2 years or 5 years from now, in that case, the only thing that will change will be maybe the interface changes. The concept remains the same anyhow. Okay, so let it happen. This might take some time depending on how well it is. So let it happen. We are going to come back to that. So my DNS is now hosted over here. And if everything works inside GoDaddy, if it is good, then this GoDaddy should now point to my AWS. And I'm going to do my routing from AWS henceforth. Okay, so just keep in mind that this process might take some time. The website might be slow, your DNS provider might be slow, things like that. Okay, so if in case it happens, no worries, just go and retry it and it should be good. Okay, so fine. So if assuming that this is done, if in case it's not, we are going to come back to it, no worries on that. So Route 53, I already have it over here. Now I'll go for ACM, Amazon Certificate Manager over here. So inside my ACM, I'm going to go and again the same old thing, request a certificate. I'm going to request it. I'm going to go and give the domain name over here. So the domain name for my website was this. Okay, and let's say I'm also putting www.this, and I'm also putting something like star.this. Okay, so now if I click on next, I have option of DNS validation and email validation. Now, why didn't I choose email validation, by the way? So email validation doesn't mean that the mail will be going on any address. No, if your domain name is, let's say, abc.com, in that case, the email will go to administrator@abc.com, admin@abc.com, webmaster@abc.com, postmaster@abc.com, and hostmaster@abc.com. So it will be going to these people or these particular email ID. Any one of them, again, any one of them will have to confirm that indeed this change has to be done. Now, because I have just bought a domain, I haven't bought an email till now because I want to save the price on that. So for that reason, I am going for the DNS validation. So this step, I click on next over here. Here I can give the name, let's say name, and that's my name. And let's say created by, and let's give the name here. Okay, now if you click on review over here and you click on confirm and request. So in ideal scenarios, what happens is right now this is a bit slow over here. So if everything is good, it will ask you to directly create a record in Route 53. Okay, so once that is done, you just have to click there and you have to click on create, and then click here and click on create record in Route 53 here, and then here, and that should be this. So create. Okay, so if everything is good, this will change from pending validation to success. It becomes green basically, and click on continue. Now this might take some time, as I told you, so let it be. The ideal way is that whenever you buy a domain like this and you're forwarding it to AWS, that might take some time, and that is perfectly fine with us. So my advice will be that if you're buying a new one, it generally takes somewhere around 30 minutes to 1 hour for this to get validated. Okay, so let it happen. And why is this taking time, by the way? Because right now my DNS records, which were hosted by GoDaddy over here. So if you see the DNS records, it says I cannot do it because it is not managed by us. So we know the reason for that, because this is now being hosted by AWS, and especially Route 53 inside AWS. So this propagation, which is happening from GoDaddy to AWS at this moment, that actually takes a lot of time. So that can be somewhere around 30 days now. Generally people say that it can take around 3 days for the propagation to happen. However, in my experience, it does not take 3 days, to be honest. It takes approximately, best case scenario, though it might take few seconds. Worst case scenario, approximately 4 to 6 hours. Also, a general observation is that if you switch to your mobile data, basically in that scenario, the data, whatever you have, basically is synchronized faster. So you might see these changes happening faster if in case you're moving to your hotspot. So again, from experience, generally, if you are on a broadband connection, these things are slow. On a mobile connection, these things are fast. Okay, so let's go and refresh the page right now. And it still says pending validation. If that happens, you might want to go over there and click on create a record again. Now, does it create any issue for you? No, actually, we are going to see that also. So these records, how do you know that whether this is being successful or not? So let's do one thing. Let's also go inside our Route 53 itself and see if indeed these entries are actually happening over there or not. If in case these entries are happening, it means the propagation was successful. So let's go here and let's go to the hosted zones. And it is .online head. So you see over here, the CNAMEs are actually being added. It means that indeed the propagation is now proper. So just have a look. Underscore 222 starts with 4F8. So over here, underscore 222 starts with 4F8, underscore 222 also with 4F8, and then underscore 3AF with 224. So you have 3AF and 224. Now, by the way, if in case you want to know that why this and this records are same, because star also means nothing. Okay, so that's why it is like that. So generally wait for some time. AWS would have also told you that if in case it doesn't work out, you might want to wait. Now, if you are again impatient like me and you should generally don't want to wait, no worries. You can go there, click on delete this particular certificate, and then you can go and request a new certificate. That's fine. So let's go into the same process again. So this one, a public certificate, let's give this, and then maybe www.this and maybe something like star.this. Next, and that's a DNS validation. Next, let's give a name over here, and that's the name, and let's say created by review and confirm and so if everything is good, so you should see these particular buttons again over here, create record in Route 53, and then the second one, create record, this one, and then the third one here. Now, in ideal scenarios, this should be successful. It's not because I bought the domain some time back and it might take some time in propagation. So let it be like this. I'm going to leave it over here on this one right now, and then we'll resume the same underscore 222 and 4F8 over here. So if I go to Route 53, here I'll see again the same entries coming up here. So underscore 222 and underscore 4F8. So let's leave it over here. I'll just pause it for some time, and once we are back, we'll see that these particular entries would be successful. So I'll see you back in some time. Okay, so we are still waiting on this one. So the validation, it might take some time, and now it happens actually. So it might take some time. In the meantime, let's go to North Virginia and do the same thing, the same certificate creation in North Virginia also, and see how it goes. Okay, so same concept here, request a certificate, click here, and then give your domain name. Let's say www.same thing, and then the same thing. Now, the same thing has to be repeated. The same process has to be repeated basically. And DNS validation, click on next. If you want to give the tags, you can give the tags. If you don't want, you can leave it. That's fine. Confirm and request, and then you will have to tell AWS again the same old story that you will have to go and create this particular record over there. This record and this record, and finally this one. Now, if everything is good, just click on the continue button over here, and you should see the certificate coming up shortly inside North Virginia also. Again, we are just going to wait on this one. Important thing is that generally the certificates are available for some specific duration. So
For example, this certificate, which was issued at 2020, this is going to expire on 2022 because certificates generally are there for approximately 1 year. In case of AWS, right now it is 13 months, but then AWS automatically renews the certificate for you. So that is also there. So in that case, you don't have to worry. AWS is automatically going to renew the certificate for you. Now, alternatively, there are pretty other ways of doing these certificates. The one that I use apart from this is something known as your Ssl certificate. So basically, let's encrypt. So you might want to see let's encrypt here also. So this is a good blog that explains how to go and create the certificates using let's encrypt. You might want to go and have a look at this if in case you're interested, or let me know if you're interested in that. We can work on let's encrypt also. Okay, so this one will be once it is done, the certificate should be issued to us, and that should happen both in North Virginia as well as in Mumbai. So both the places right now it says pending validation. So as I said, approximately best case few seconds, worst case few hours, but generally approximately in 1 hour from now it should happen. So we'll pause it now over here, and once I see you, we'll see that how the certificates are created. Okay, so like you see, inside North Virginia, the certificate has been issued to me. This is the certificate, and to prove that it's issued on 30th of April, which is over here, and approximately for 13 months, this is going to be there. So this certificate is issued to me for a total of 13 months in this case.
So the certificate is applicable for somewhere around 13 months. So that, by the way, is happening in US East 1 or North Virginia. So the same thing, let's go back and have a look in Mumbai. So again, remember that if it's in North Virginia, it might take more time in Mumbai, but more or less it's the same only. Okay, so if you see the same certificate inside Mumbai is still pending validation. Now, if I click on refresh, it still says pending validation. And the reason for that is that right now the GoDaddy profile is also in India. My servers are also in India. Me myself in India. So basically, that's one of the reasons why it takes more time. So anyhow, you have seen how to create the certificates over here. So that certificate will be created. We don't need it as of now because we are going to work more on the CloudFront part. And in that case, we are going to need more on the certificates inside North Virginia or US East 1. So in the next class, we are going to see how to go and create a S3 bucket endpoint basically. And after that, we are going to go and create a CloudFront distribution. So once we are over there, we are going to just go and combine all the things, and we are going to create our own hosted website, which is going to work on CloudFront and using our domain, which is shown over here. So I'll see you in the next one.